Well, hello and welcome, friends. I am so excited to be here with you this evening. And let me know if you can see me. I am doing a whole bunch of new things this evening. Let me tell you, I am so excited to spend some time with you this evening. I have got my coffee and my daughter just logged in. Ashley, hi, nice to see you. You can all follow her. Here's where she's at. Oh my gosh, take a look at this. Eva's daughters are here too. We got good people going on this evening. Thank you for saying where you are in the chat. It is so helpful for me. This new software that I'm using is supposed to be something extra great that I should be able to do things like put people up on the screen with your comments. Eva, thank you. I got this from a very special maker indeed. I loved her from the minute I met her when she was about 5 years old. Her name is Kiara. Yay! It's so good to have her here. Okay, so I wanted to start this evening. So I thought we'd do a fall theme together. And I got to make a couple confessions as we go. This is Bengal spiced tea. It is a cinnamony kind of hints of apple type of tea. So I've got my hot drink. If you don't have your drink ready to go, by all means, go grab it, come back. It's okay. Just leave this running so that we can keep counting all those minutes that people are watching me. So I've got this to keep me hydrated. And I thought I would start with a couple. Look, I'm going to show you my little notebook here. Look, handwriting, my friends. I've been practicing. Yes, I have. When fall comes around, there's all sorts of things that come to mind for me. Like it's sweater weather, right? We all think about that. And pumpkin spice and everything nice. So those are two of my favorite things that happen when the fall starts to come around. So here in Ontario, it might not decide to be fall quite yet. Apparently we're getting a week of summer still. But I had a little question for you. I want you to know that fall is my second favorite F word. My second favorite F word. What do you think my first? Oh, and look at that. We got balloons going on because I forgot to turn off whatever that feature is. Anyways, sometimes there'll be balloons, friends. And I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad you figured it out. Thank you. Thank you for being here. But if you could in the chat, everybody, try and guess what my favorite four-letter F word is. And it's not a bad one at all, my friends. My fall is my second favorite four-letter F word. Any guesses? I'll give you a hint. Lori will like this because she plays Wordle every day. She knows there's two O's in the center of the F word. I really like. You're all sitting there with terrible, terrible thoughts right now. Food. My favorite word is food. Lori, I like the fun with the two N's. That's the best. I love it. That's right. Friends is another great F word for sure. Lots of great F words. Food is where it's at. That's my favorite F word. But fall is my second favorite F word. And I need you to know that I have never met a pumpkin that I didn't like. I've got some pumpkins. Can you see in the studio here? A pumpkin designed by my good friend Lisa from Designs by Lisa or Lisa's Designs. Lisa, if you're there yet, tell me so that we can all follow you as well. And Barb, I am so glad you are here from beautiful Tennessee. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And look, I have forced all you guys to figure this out. Look at us learning. Learning is living, my friends. But before we just get into crafting here, I want you to know my all-time favorite. I don't know if it's a saying or a quote, but it is the one that comes to me every time autumn comes around. And since I'm doing some fall themed things today, I just wanted to make sure that I shared this with all of you. So my favorite saying for fall is, autumn shows us how beautiful it is to let things go. So if there's anything on your mind as you're coming into our craft and chat this afternoon, by all means, let it go. I know there's a winter song about let it go, but fall is a beautiful time to let things go. So I'm so glad that you're all here, my friends. Cute little pumpkins. There are other pumpkins in the room too, Shelly. This is one of the pumpkins, and I have a little fox here, a pumpkin made by my mom. I love being a maker. I'm a third generation maker, which means that my Nana and grandmother, both sides of my family, were very keen to make things. My dad's mom was a brilliant quilter, even had a whole room in her house with a quilting loom. Long before they had machines to do any of that kind of stuff. And my Nana on my mom's side, she was a beautiful knitter, crocheter. Anything she could cook was all made so beautifully. And so I am third generation. My mom is a beautiful maker. She too needlework. She can do beautiful knitting, crocheting. an absolutely gorgeous sugar art. She is an incredible wedding cake designer, making flowers petal by petal out of gum paste. Janice, you are just on time. There's no such thing as late to these live streams. I am so glad that you are here. I love to come from this family of makers, just like I see Gulfession saying here on our chat tonight. So, oh yes, Ashley, you remember the cakes, right? It's something, let me tell you. In fact, my mom made the topper for my cake that I still have to this day and keep in a china hutch like she kept hers. It's all good. All right. So I have prepared a couple of things to do tonight, but because there's a lot that I'm learning today, because learning is living, I've kept it very simple on the crafting front. In fact, I've done a ton of pre-work. Just ask Fred, who I believe is in the chat paying attention. He's taking care of Luigi just slightly over there. And so I have done lots of prep because I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous that as I would get going, I would forget to look at the camera, that I would forget to glue something where it's supposed to be glued. So I've done lots and lots to say, this is going to be easy. And tonight's card, and I haven't seen her yet in the chat, but I hope she's here. One of my coffee loving friends is Sydney Cable. Yes, it is. She's a Starbucks. Can I say fiend? I think she's a Starbucks fiend. Yes. In fact, when she graduated high school and was getting ready to go off to post-secondary, one of the things that Fred did that, I don't know, was like just an amazing treat because Fred loves his Starbucks. He gave Sydney his Starbucks account. And so Sydney could go out. Ooh, there he is. Hi, Fred. Sydney could go out to Starbucks on Fred while she was away at school. Our big girl has since graduated. And she still has that love for Starbucks like I do. And so I'm going to put my coffee aside. If you're crafting and you have a beverage, make sure it has a locked lid because spills in the craft room, not cool, friends. Okay, putting that aside. And I'm going to pull out my craft box. But before I go into it, let me show you the new thing that I just learned. Ta-da! I'm going to be able to show you my hands while I talk to you. Now, again, we're all friends here, so I'm really hoping that I can do this well. And I'm looking for feedback and have lots of patience. That's what I'm looking for, lots and lots of patience. Okay, so Tyra, I think you are one of the most important people in my life, and I just can't thank you enough. I do not have the total hang of it. For one, I keep ducking under the camera that's above me right here. But I did do my nails so that you guys can see a little shimmer. Oh, Bella, you just said pretty nails. That's funny. Okay, we're on. We are really live, friends, aren't we? This is awesome. I love it. Dual cameras for the win. Okay, so in the second camera, while I'm staying like this for a second here, I'm going to show you, I have pulled out a couple different things. So this little guy, I'm going to pull him out first. He's some of my die cuts that I've pre-arranged for us to do. And it's a little china plate that I keep in my craft room that Lauren gave me. I have a number of very pretty papers and cardstocks for us to be able to use tonight. So I'm going to use that. And let me show you what the card was that Sydney inspired. I don't know if you can guess it from looking at the dies, but we are going to make some Starbucks style cups only. They're going to be in fall colors and themes because pumpkin spice and everything nice, right, guys? Okay, so I'm going to play with the camera for a second here. I'm going to go like this, which is not the exact thing I wanted to do. Ha, there. So Fred and I practiced camera angles yesterday. Not my strongest suits, friends. So, hey, Sydney, you're here. This is because of you. Well, not because of you. This is thanks to you. I love our coffee habit, and we are going to do some fun coffee Starbucks die cuts on a card today. So what you're going to see us do this evening as we go through a couple different cards is I've taken a theme. Let me see if I can spread this out so you can sort of see colors, themes, sort of made a palette for myself. Barb, you are the color queen. You always know. Oh, Barb and Ann, you guys should say hi to each other. The colors are sort of within a family, I think maybe, Barb, I would call it that. I've given myself lots of options so that we can design as we go. And And hopefully these will turn out super pretty. That's my hope. That's what I'm aiming for. Look at these. These are the bases. That's pretty nice, right? I don't know if the lighting shows up beautifully on the live stream that we're doing, but hey, we're going to try. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the dies that I use. And the thing that I really love about this is that I was able to use this little sidekick. So let's take a look at this guy, sidekick. It is a lovely, lovely, tiny little machine that when Sydney and I were crafting, we got it because the two of us doing things at the same time needed sort of a second machine. I have a die cutter that's big. It's actually on its own dedicated table off to the side over here. But I got this one, and unfortunately, it's been sitting in a drawer, forgotten about, until I recently did some destashing. And when I did my destashing, I was getting ready for a, for a destashing sale. So on Saturday this week, I am heading out to Stouffville to the Paper Crafters Workshop to sell a bunch of wonderful things that I have loved and gently used, but no longer need in my repertoire. This is staying in my repertoire forever though. So let me see. I need to come back to, okay. So what this little guy does is it actually has a silicone pack. He's going to stick to my desk here. And I'm just going to show you as an example. And then we're going to use our previously cut ones or our pre-cut ones. So I keep these dies on a magnet, just keeps me organized. And what I'm going to do is just take, and I love this because these are little scrap papers. When I make out the card bases, you're left with little things. These are scrap papers. So this is a great way to use up scrap paper and not waste a thing, because let's face it, everything in the world feels expensive, right? So we want to make sure that what we do is use everything that we have to the best of our ability. My friend Barb is the master at being able to do that. So I've got two little plates. I've sandwiched the die in there, and I'm just going to roll this through and take this out and show you. Voila. My little die has cut out a little shape. Sydney, we'll have to think about who we're going to give this to. So this is the little cup shape. Okay, so that's one. And then I've got my trash can under my desk here, and usually Luigi has knocked it over by now, but I kicked him out because I was a little nervous, friends. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to try and do is get you guys to pick things as we go. So the lid, think of a Starbucks cup or whatever brand we love, Dunkin' Donuts or Tim Hortons, and we're going to put the little lid on it now. Lots of different colors to come from. And I have like this nice dark brown. I've got bright orange. I've got a kind of a craft tone on tone. So if you see one that you think, oh, brown lid, Lori, you're first to the races. I'm going to respect your wishes. Here we go. So I'm going to put the brown lid on here. Now, be thinking about what color we should do the cuff. So if you think of the cuff that goes over the card, that's going to be this little piece, you know, when you keep your hands from burning. I'm sure there's been lots of suits before that little cuff got created. Actually, you know, my mom has even crocheted cuffs. Have you ever seen those where you can put them on your own cup? Okay, so that's the brown lid that we got, Lori. Thank you for that. Now this little guy is tight in there, so I'm just going to use this deadly tool that I have here. Okay, orange, I see. Lori, I feel like you are designing this card. I'm going to make sure that you get it. I'm just going to poke this through to release the tiny little lid. So we got a lid. Okay. And that's a scrap. I don't keep all kinds of scraps for everything, but look, I could make another lid right there if I wanted to. I could do the cuff from there. Okay, so what did I see for votes on the cuff? And then, of course, this is cute. The cuff has a tiny little circle, which if it was actually Starbucks would be a mermaid, right? But we're just going to put sort of something pumpkin-y here. So I saw, Laura, you said orange. I'm going to go with, I think we'll go with this more muted orange. See, I have a hyper orange there as well, too. I'm going to do sort of the more muted orange. And then think about what color we should do. Maybe the brown, Lori. What do you think? The brown that we did for the lid, so it will coordinate. We can see. While I cut, you guys can chat and tell me if I'm getting close to this. All right. And I'm so happy that I remembered this when I was cleaning up and got this back out on my desk. And now it sits next to my desk. So it is super fun to have and just do little tiny die cuts like this quickly. So that's the orange. Do we have a vote for the little dot? And let me put these back on my magnet because I can see crafters often will call the space as they start crafting their craftastrophe, because it does get a little bit messy. So let's see. So brown to coordinate, Lori says. I feel like that's a good choice. So I'm going to go back to that little scrap paper that I had. And one thing I didn't think of when I was practicing and trying to figure out was, how will I know how long I've been? Somebody keep me honest, and we will make sure that our hour is our hour. I have done a couple live streams that were just so engaging to watch. It didn't matter how long they were, but I don't want to keep you past bedtime, friends. Brown dot, Shelly. Look at that. Brown dot. Where's my camera? There's my camera. Brown dot. Okay, friends. So I think we have them. The other little piece that we can do with this, let's do it with this light color of craft paper. It's an interesting little embellishment. I'll try and show you on the camera. It's this tiny little cuff, if you will. And this tiny little cuff, cuff's not quite the right word, detail. It's a tiny little detail piece. When I first saw it, I didn't get it. I wasn't sure what it was for. But when I really found out what it was for, I'm going to show you how it just makes the lid, as it turns out, really pop. So the tiny little piece as well. So we've got this itty bitty little detail. Now, die cutting, to me, when you'll see as we start putting it together, see that little guy, is a lot like jigsaw puzzles. And I know a lot of people love jigsaw puzzles. So I was very happy to get to a point where I had a new project that I loved doing, and that it still fed my love of jigsaw puzzles. Aaron, I see you. Okay, look. Duh, we got it. I love it. It is so fun for me to see you guys learning right along, because learning is living. That's a thing I love saying. And I'm so, so happy that you could be here. Actually, Aaron, I was chatting with you yesterday. Tyler's girlfriend is a nurse as well, and she was going to work a night shift yesterday. So we were talking about how nursing and night shifts are a really good thing. Okay, so let me show you guys. Here's my little piece. The pieces that we put together are cut out first. So we've got our adorable little cup. Look at this orange cuff and our little lid. I'm going to grab I wonder if my mom's here. Mom, if you're here, I love you. Okay, the little lid is gorgeous. Our little coordinating logo dot. Look, does this not make you want a pumpkin spice latte? And then this magic little piece here just goes on to this part and becomes like an extra little embellishment and gives some what they would call dimension and those sort of things. Hey, Suzanne, look at you. I'm so glad that you're here as well. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm happy to have you join me. We are doing a Sydney-inspired card here. Now, these pieces, and you'll see what I've done is I've cut out different pieces to make different styles. So the TV magic, friends. We've got different colors. We can coordinate. I just wanted to show you some of that die cutting as we go. This one is a little bit opposite to the one that we did. So there's all kinds of ways you can take this one little die cut and make something quite magical out of it if you please. Look at that one. Nice there. This one can be, does anybody remember? Is it A&W that I've seen with coffee cups that have an orange lid? There's somebody I've seen recently with orange lids. I don't know if you know that, but if you do, go ahead and put it in the chat. And so this is kind of the look and feel we're going for. You can see that I've cut out sort of coordinating pieces for all of them. And all of them in my heart are filled with pumpkin spice lattes or your favorite, whatever that may be. Actually, I would like to know, what are some of the favorites? Sydney, you have some really neat favorite coffee drinks. Put in the chat what some of your favorites are. And I'll tell you that this little tool, Lori, this little guy, this is a tweezer, just a regular tweezer, except that the magic of this tweezer is it's closed. Can you see this part? It's closed when I don't squeeze it. And it's opened when I do squeeze it, which means that I can get it to like hold things together for me with, and if I would, you'll see when I glue that I let that go, it can all sit together. So, all right. All right. So beautiful tweezers. Okay. So I'm going to move my little, he's a porcupine from Japan. Lauren actually just returned from Japan yesterday. So very timely. I think everybody should take a sip of whatever their drink is. And I just thought about the fact that this seems to have been closed and seems very hot. So I'm going to put it back down again and have a sip in a minute. Ooh, Ashley, you have my heart. You know how much I love this one. The vanilla bean latte, the powder. That's the key. It's not available everywhere. Okay. All right. So, Barbara Chauvin, you have never had a coffee in your life? How is that even possible? I love that. Yes, Erin, you're right. I was just talking about Lauren. So Lauren, who was our housekeeper for through her university years, she got her doctorate and has been asked to speak. So she just went and presented in Japan and just came back yesterday and was excited to come back to her first new house, which she got just a little bit before she has. Erin, is there a club starting here? You have never had a coffee? You're a nurse who works a night shift. You have never had a coffee? Do we believe these ladies? Never? Okay, Anne, I got to know about this. Tell us. First pumpkin spice tea with pumpkin juice from stewed pumpkin. It doesn't sound good. No, I love pumpkin spice, but how they made, okay, I believe you. I believe you. I really do. I do. Okay, Anne doesn't drink coffee either. These are now filled with tea. That's what I can say. These ones, tea. These ones, coffee. That's what we're putting into these fantasy little cups. So let's get back to doing some crafting here. Feel free to keep talking amongst yourselves about the beautiful coffee drinking you do or do not do. I'm going to pull out this tool here. This is such a neat little thing. So you've seen glue guns for hot glue, right? This is actually a bottle of glue. This is how simple this is. Inside a trigger pressure system that makes it a glue gun itself, which means I can put different nozzles of, this is a craft glue. So this one you can see I have a very fine nozzle on it because we're going to do some little things. Then this stand holds the lid. This stands in it. So guess what? Let me tilt it this way so you can see, or let me, wait, I'll hold it up to this camera. So gravity is bringing the glue down to the tip while it sits there and waits for me. But on this side, you can see there's a stopper. So there's nothing flowing out of my glue. It's ready for me to use at a moment's notice. So what we're going to do is put these little guys together. I'm going to start with the one that Lori designed, which is this one. I do think, Lori, looking at the group, you chose best. So what we're going to do is take the cuff first, because that's a slightly larger piece and it's going to have a couple layers. I'm going to get some glue. Should have checked before we started the live stream that my glue was working. That's okay. 1 second. Please talk amongst yourselves. So this new software that I'm using has some features that I can play some music, for example, in the background. And I'm going to switch glue guns. That's what I'm going to do. And I don't know where that button is, but I will study where that button is because it would be nice to play some music while I am switching up my glue, friends. All right, let's try that again. Different leg, different one. Going over here, moving that aside. And, you know, I watch these live streams and these people make it look so easy. It's not so easy. Can you see how red I've turned? My fingers are freezing cold and my face is super hot. Oh, well, okay. Glue is running, friends. Let's do this. Maybe I can figure out with Mr. Fred how to get the air moving without noise in my studio. Okay, first piece down. And those tweezers we were talking about, I'm just going to squish it so you can see they're together now. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the lid, which is small. I'm going to put the dark brown piece onto the white piece first. I like how they designed this die so that the whole lid, sometimes you just get to attach things to the top, but this is actually going over the whole piece, which means it's going to have some nice dimension. And okay, so now I'm squishing that one down. Guess what we're doing next, friends? This beautiful little dot. Okay, so dots going on. And the nice thing about glue is that I can mush it over a little bit. I have what's called float time. If I was using tape, it sticks down right away where it goes. But see, I can move this a little bit to find that centerpiece of what I really want to do. And then the last piece of this sweet one is our tiny little, I don't even know what to call it. It's just a detail that the engineers who designed this, or maybe it was the designer that, the graphic designer that designed it, insisted came with this set. Fred, you've always wondered how I glue these things? Really? I bet you have. I bet you've also wondered how much glue costs, right? All right, so see that? Look at that. It's just a nice little detail that happens. Let me hold that up closer to the camera. Ooh, camera's having trouble catching up. Okay, my festive fall nails. All right, so that's that one. Now, friends, I am going to look at, oh, Ashley, friends, if you ever have a chance to have a drink with Ashley and ask about her father singing in Mexico, I recommend it. I do. I'm not going to lie. I recommend it. All right. It does dry clear if you don't get it on the right spot, Laura. You are absolutely right. You were made for this, Laura. You know exactly what we're doing. So let's see. How do I make that? Okay. So nope, that's not where I'm going. I'm going over here. Here's what I'm going to try. This is, okay. Now, they recommend that I set the volume when this is playing in the background to this setting that I have now. I'd love for you to tell me in the chat if it's too loud while I'm talking, because what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to glue a couple of these together so that we can start to do that. Eva, I do have the karaoke machine turned up. So, all right, so trying this music, I'm going to sit sort of, I'm not trying to be quiet, I'm just trying to get this done. So talking and crafting at the exact same time, not necessarily my forte yet. So talk amongst yourselves in the chat. Entertain yourself. I don't have a moderator yet because this is a first. I have some friends that I would love to have as moderators when I grow up and keep doing this. So just looking at the entire and I'm just saying. All right. Putting these together, friends. And it's interesting. There's all sorts of laws in music that you need to be respectful of the artist and whatnot. So these are some sanctioned loops that I can play in the background when I'm doing things that YouTube and my software do together. So that's that little guy. Final detail on him. It is soothing. I hope I don't put anybody to sleep. There's one called Rock that I'm going to try in a second when I've got this one down. Let's see what that says. All right, going back over here. This one is called Rock. You ready? There we go. We can do some rock while we're putting these ones together. All right, here we go. Oh. You know, I really love all sorts of music, and I would really have loved to have been around when Fred had a t-shirt that said Death to Disco. I'm telling you, me and ABBA, we go way back, way back. So, I don't know if this rock is your cup of tea, Fred, but we'll try it for a minute. And the funny thing is that comments are on a different, you rock it, Eva, you rock. So I gotta sort of figure out the right optimization of the studio here so that I can have good lighting, good volume, and touch all of the things in the background. Did everybody just see Lori's comment? Look at this. I feel like she's highly wise. This is good decision making that Lori has done here. Paper and fire. Probably not the best combination in the studio. All right. All right, I think I can do the rock. That's pretty cool. So one of the things that I'm challenged to do over the next coming weeks as I build out my channel here is build my own library of music. So I may be calling on you all to karaoke with me. Maybe indeed. Okay, one more, and then we're going to get to putting together a card here that Sydney has inspired. And in true professional style, I wanted to make sure that I over-prepared, so I have options for our next card after our Starbucks card. And can't wait to show you what I've come up with. It was my goal when I was setting up this to see if I could have enough have enough I've lost my train of thought completely. I have no idea what I'm talking about all of a sudden. Feel free to laugh at me currently, friends. I'm sure I was saying something extremely wise and well educated. In fact, it was something about having multiple cards. Oh, I think I wanted to say that I have other options and tried hard to prepare extra so that in case this flew by and I suddenly made 10 cards, I would still have something to show you guys and talk about. Okay. All right. So we've got some cute little, okay, tea or coffee. They're so cute, right? Yay! All right. So let's see now. We're going to just move these to the side, and I want to pull forward the bases of the card because I kind of like to start there. I'm going to go back to my music for a second here and see if I can make that stop. Hey, it did what I said it needed to do. All right. Okay, so in the same cardstock colors as these, I've picked out these. And what I thought I might do, so the idea here is I sort of want to make a nice little coffee card to give to a friend that might have a Starbucks card in it for them to go get their own Starbucks. It sure is not going to have my husband's Starbucks account on it. I think Sydney and I have exercised that plenty. So I also cut some what's like backgrounds, if you will, in different cardstock that had fall themes. And this one had pumpkins on it. So I wanted to go with something that had pumpkins on it. See how cute that is. Okay, so that could be the background. And then what I have as well are some coordinating circles in the solid colors that match. Okay, so we could see how this matches the card, right? This is the card at the back. Or we could play up a lighter color to be able to do something there. Or here's another thing that we can do. We're going to design this together, friends. So get ready. Let's see. So what looks nice with, this one maybe, let's see. So we could do the dark circle with, I am a gingham fan, with some gingham going on. So maybe something like this. And then I'm thinking perhaps this guy can go in the middle. Is that okay? Yes, gingham. We got gingham. What do we think of that? Now, because we're designing this together, I want you guys to see something really neat that happens. So when you change one element, similar to if you're decorating a room and you just put new throw pillows on, you can just sort of change the whole way something looks. Now, I'm going to say I don't love that as much as I like the dark on dark, but it's kind of neat to see what happens when you play with some colors. Now, something else we can do, well, we'll stick with this one to start because otherwise I will just show you options all night and we'll get one card done. So what do we think? So I heard yes to the gingham. So I'm going to try this dark brown and the pumpkins. We're going to say yes to the gingham. Do we feel like the gingham should be on the dark? Oh, 2 cups, Shelly. Darker is better. Let's look, Shelly. Let's look. 1 little cup for this friend. What do we think? Shelly! Okay, that makes me feel like I could give this to a friend and say, let's go for coffee. What do we think? Is this nice? This is the Craftastrophe. I'm going to try and move this out. Janice, you like the dark circle, so we're going to go with the dark circle. Gingham for the win here. Now, also just to be able to show you, so we like the pumpkins, but we could switch out and be more matchy-matchy. Sometimes the curtain must smash the drapes, my friend. And that's way too much gingham. It makes me dizzy. I can't even do it. But it's always good to check, right? Okay, so let's pull this one out. I'm going to go make an executive decision on the pumpkins back here. I love the 2 cup, Shelly. That is super win. What do we think? Is that what we're going to do? Yay! Okay, now this comes together quickly. Here's what we're going to do. We've got our card. I'm going to take this double-sided tape. It's very thin and it's a tape runner. So what you're going to see me do is just put a couple of strips of the tape right along the back of this panel. This is a top folding card, so it will sit like that on a desk, which if I show you to this camera, how do I get there? This camera. See how it opens at the bottom? Okay. Gonna put my head under the camera for a second here, friends. I'm sorry if I get in the way. Frame that up nicely there. And then we're going to do a little bit of magic on the back of this guy. These are foam squares, and these foam squares are double-sided tape as well, but they have loft. So I'm just going to put a few of these on the back of this circle, kind of like at 12, 9, 6, and 3. For those of you younger, that's a clock that I'm referring to. So there's a couple pieces here, and what it's going to do is, let's see which camera can show you best. This one. Give me some dimension so that this is popped up. When you're making handmade cards, one of the big benefits is being able to make it feel so luxurious in the individual's hand when they get it. So that's going to be the popped up part of this. And in all honesty, I probably wanted to tape this onto that before I popped it up, but that's okay. So here we're going right for the center. Now I'm going to put the double-sided tape again. I'm going to use that on the back of my gingham circle. Gingham for the win. And move these little guys. Do you know, I vacuumed before we started the live stream today because I wanted to treat you guys like you were coming over to my place. I really appreciate you being here. And I felt like a vacuum was a good thing to do. So I did. Okay, so we've got our base card, our pumpkins on the background, our gingham coordinated, and the dark one in here. Now, let's get ready for some magic with 2 cups. How's that look? Do you like it a little off center like that? I feel like that looks kind of nice, right? You want me to put both cups on the round bella? I actually like, this is sort of a design thing. When something hangs off of the circle, it's a, if anybody knows what that's called, help me out. But like an eye-catching thing that happens. So it's sort of like draws your eye to something nice and extra in the space. So let's give that a whirl. Okay, so we're going to go with this. A little glue on the back. Sydney, if you have somebody you need to give a coffee card to, let me know. Sydney has just started her career job. And so has Tyra, now that I think of it. Oh my gosh, you guys have both. Tyra finished law school. We got to go to her call to the bar at Roy Thompson Hall just earlier this year. And she's working on her career. And Sydney, also working on her career, graduated as well. So look at all these littles coming up into a wonderful part of their life. Okay, you guys, you designed it. It's so good. It's so cute. Let me show this camera so you can see it nicely there. And I'm going to see if I have something applicable. I'm not sure if I do. So this is a set from a company called Lawn Fawn. Here, I'll put it this way. So these are some nice little sentiments. And what I did was take some of the sentiments and cut them out. And I'm wondering if I can do like a little banner or a little, do I have a, oh, I do. Wait. It says, hello, fall. Do we feel like, yeah, Shelly, we love it. Okay, so maybe down here a little bit. I will pop up this side of it, or maybe up here. Hello, fall. What do we think? If this could be scratch and sniff, Bella, that would be so great. I'm leaning towards down here. Hello, fall, down in the corner. What do we think, friends? Top, Suzanne? All right, we're doing it on the top. Okay, now this is interesting. So remember I told you I popped up the brown circle. What I'm going to do is use the same pop, but only put it on half of the circle because I'm going to glue part of the circle on the gingham, okay? So what I'm gonna want is for it to stand up over here. I'm just gonna put 2 little dots so it's nice and secure. I'm gonna bring back the glue and I'm gonna put the glue on the bottom half of that circle so that the glue is touching here on the gingham. Oop, better take our, what is that called? Little backers off of the foam adhesive. And we're going to position it right there. And now it's the same height as the brown one there. Look at that, my friends. You designed this. All right, coming up to this camera for a little close-up. You designed this. All it needs, Fred, is a big fat Starbucks card in there, right? Okay, so, woo, we did one. Somebody do a time check. I feel like we are where I said we would be right now. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the next card. So I'm going to put that one aside. And I think we can go over here. I really am dying to know if my mom made it. She might be watching without knowing how to use the chat, since that was a challenge for some of us. But like I said earlier, if you're here, Mom, I love you. If you're not here, I love you too, Mom. I can see my face getting redder and redder. You guys, it's crazy. Okay, so these ones, this is where Craftastrophe comes in. I'm going to move a few things out of my way. I'm going to go back to our tickle trunk. And I'm going to try and do a fast card now. Try. So I'm going to try and do, my friends. Now, my Uncle Don, one of the best guys I know, reached out to me this week and sent me a picture of a vine growing by his back door that he planted, commemorating my aunt, who is my dad's little sister, who passed away last Christmas. And I have been randomly sending him cards and trying to make them themes of things that he liked. So I'm going to send him this card that we make. What I've chosen is a vanilla card that's going to be top folding as well, but we're going to do it landscape this time. And I've chosen some colors that are very, I don't know, is it fair to say masculine? I know I'm supposed to be woke, but sometimes I don't know what to say. So I think a silhouette is what I'm going for here. Let me show you what this looks like. It is a tree. See that? Like kind of a pasture of trees in a silhouette. And then these little beauties that I have to admit, Lori, this won't surprise you at all. I felt like naming them as I was cutting them out. Let me show you. So look at their tiny little Bambis. Aren't those cute? And I know this isn't really the time of year when tiny little Bambi babies are out because they're about a year old now, but I'm going to use a little baby. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take the mama deers and the baby deers. And just to show you, because I think it's so fascinating to see how these companies make these products. This is the die that I use to cut out the silhouettes. And the die wouldn't fit through that little machine I was showing you, which is why I have a great big, it's actually called a Big Shot, that cuts those out. So we have little deer. And then what I wanted to do behind the scene, because this is stark to me. It's nice, but that wasn't what I was going for. It's so stark. Oh, Lisa, I see you. I'm so glad you're here. So I went through some designed paper that I have, right? So I know this might not look exactly fall, but what I was going for, I'll show you a couple things. I was sort of trying to imagine if this was a night scene, the setting sun behind the scene. And I thought that ended up looking quite pretty when I looked at that. You can maybe pretend this is the sky, you know, that kind of feeling. But then thinking about my uncle, he's a hunter, fisher, angler type of guy. I found these more green ones, and look at how this sort of burnt orange comes in. I thought that might be very pretty. We could do that. And then that's when I started changing it up and came up with the green. That looks very pretty, so it's not quite as stark. And then that actually led me down the rabbit hole of lots of different colors and greens. So I'm going to I think for Uncle Don, I think I'm going to do, what do we think? That's the black. Maybe I like this one better. Yeah, that feels pretty nice. What do you guys think of that? How's my camera right about here? Too many choices. I know, Lori, it's me. What can I say? I wanted to have lots of choices. Okay, so I think that is what I'm going to do here. Let me move that out of the way. So it's going on a vanilla base card. I'm going to do let me just check the green one more time, friends. I know, but like doing a puzzle, the pieces don't always fit where you think they're going to fit first. That's the greener one. Greener one like this, Barb. Ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, that's pretty. We're going to do that, friends. Okay, so Barb is a designer, so I always trust her incredible taste. I think she's picked the colors for all of my houses since we've known each other, which, I don't know. Barb, how long have we known each other? Maybe 20 years? I love green too, Erin. It's such a good one. Oh, look. So this, all I'm doing is just picking out some of the negative spaces that, even though I cut them, I didn't pop them all out. It's very satisfying to do this, by the way. Okay, so let's get those out of the way. So this is what we're going to do. It's going to be a little bit green. I can see one other piece that I need out. All right. So Ashley, tell me what this means. You should do a weeding cup. Tell me what that is. Yeah, Barb, I think 19 or 20 is about right. But Ashley, I'm curious what a weeding cup is. I'm sure there was a comment somewhere that came out for that. So here's what we've got. Okay, now I'm going to take Mama Deer and coordinating Baby Deer and put them so like that. Look at, we're making a cute little scene with the deer. All right, so I'm just going to choose these deer because Lori's right, too many choices. And I'm going to put this together. And this comes together nice and easily. So again, using that masking, double-sided tape, just a couple of good strips along the back. The manufacturers that I have grown to love create really beautiful product. So, okay, this I've put here. Now, cards that there are standard envelope sizes for. This is 4¼ by 5½. So this next size down, I do to leave a little frame for myself. And what you'll see is that the silhouette, I've made one size smaller, so it's another frame again. But first, we're going to put our little deer down. So this is about positioning. So I want my deer to be behind the scene, but not too far behind the tree. So she's going there, and then baby's going next to her, like that. So give me a second. If I was very clever, I would figure out where that music button was while I was doing this. And I'd add a little bit of glue on the back. Mama goes right about there. Baby goes right about here. And then we're going to check. Our positioning looks good. Yep, I want them in the forest. That's pretty good. And here's where a little magic's going to happen. I'm just going to place this brick over top of the deer so that we can go ahead and put our adhesive. So this is a slightly different kind of adhesive going to go on the back of the full scene because I want it to pop up so the deers look like they're sort of further away in the field. I have learned how to hold scissors many different ways through this craft, let me tell you. It is a new thing. So that one's going there. This one's going to go across the top. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't even tell you how glad I am you're all here so that I could practice this because it's all new. Here, I'm just going to put an extra piece there and then one down the side. I'm going to cut it before I peel it this time. And agree about a weeding cup. I'm going to have to figure out what you guys are talking about. I am sure one of you is going to call me afterwards and tell me what the weeding cup is. So Tyra, you're still stoked about the amazing two cameras? Woo! 2 cameras, my friends. And I'm just going to check time here. I think I have 10 minutes, right? Ooh, I set a timer to tell me I had 10 minutes left. Erin, oh my soul, you are the kindest of the kind. Let me tell you, I am burning up so hot. I can't even tell you why I'm nervous, but stage fright, it's real even when you are alone in a studio in your house, my friends, even when you are alone. Okay, so remove our block, come back here with the silhouette and looking for the masking frame, pressing that down just around the edges. Now let's see. How can I show you? Can you see the depth where the deer are flat on the card, but the card is raised, the silhouette is raised up? Isn't that nice? And really simple, right? And for my uncle, who's an outdoor guy, I think he will really feel that it's made for him. So I want to go back to my little sentiment strip and see if I can do Hello Autumn, or if it just takes away from the card. He's a pretty loving, good communicating guy. Okay. Do I feel like all the way across the top, or maybe just a little? Let's cut that and see what it looks like. All right, I'm glad you can see the depth. That makes me happy that we did that. All right. Here's a truth. I never seem to understand how to cut straight lines, but Fred will tell you it's not just paper. I also can't cut even slices of bread. All right, what do we think? Is that sweet? Oh, do it inside. So inside, I do sentiments inside. Hello, Autumn. How about, hang on, let me see. One of these might work nicely inside. Sending happy autumn wishes your way. What do you think? Is that nice? Because if we think that is nice, I wonder if I could just do a tiny piece of, just because it's the same color vanilla, I wonder. So inside, it's not grabbing me. But sometimes if you do, oh, you know what I could do? So this is a nice contrast. That looks good. So I could do, this is the full length of the card. No, not loving that. You know what I could do later, guys, is I could just stamp that inside the card, because then when I'm writing, I'm not sort of running over this little edge all the way around. What do you think? Good idea? Sending happy autumn. Okay, so that is for Uncle Don. I'm going to send that. My little craftastrophe is doing pretty good here. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm, well, actually, I feel like I'm on fire. I wonder if I could open the window and not have Luigi start barking. You think? No, I think he might start barking. So we'll just leave the window closed for a second. We're only going to be a few more minutes as I show you this next one that you're going to love. So thanks for being with me so far, but stay with me if you can. This one takes my breath away. So back to the box. We're bringing out this guy here. What is fall if it's not all about the leaves changing color? And if you're in California right now and the leaves don't change color, I'm sorry for you. All right, so I've got some different embellishments here. Look at these. I stamped these earlier. I'll show you what my stamps look like. So this is like the block, the brick that I was using. This is a silicone stamp, and I was inked it up and made some in different colors and then cut them out with the die cutting machine. And what I'm going to do is a quick put together card. Where are the bases? I think we're going to go for this nice mustardy yellow, unless a cream card would be better, because I don't think I have mustard yellow in there. So this is how quick we're going to do it, friends. This is a card base without the scoring and folding on it yet. So you're going to see how I do that. So remember I said that a card is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So I'm going this way, 4 1/4. going to do that and bend this after I scored it. Okay. Yeah, Ashley, I think you're totally right. The same is true, I think. So Ashley's saying that the so much detail goes into it, people wouldn't know. It's true. And the reality is that's true in so many makers' lives. Like Ashley, the crystal work that you do, I am confident that there are people who just don't have a clue. The when you go and cultivate them yourself, when you're able to go find them in a beautiful what do you call that? Like it's not called a rock yard, but when you go and actually cultivate it and get it yourself, any of the work that you have to do to it, it's all amazing how much time and effort goes into makers. All right, guys, a couple choices. So I'm going to use the vanilla card, looking at mine them. Thank you, Ashley. Mine them. Okay, so that's quite pretty, but I want it to be a little subtle in the background. This is not the definition of subtle. This is very pretty, but not subtle. So I think I might have been on the right, but this might even be better. Okay, I think I've got something going on here, friends. Stay with me while I show you how this is going to come together. Let's see if I can find a piece of cardstock that I'm looking for. I think this type of color, because I think that's a little closer. Nope, that's too much orange, friends. Okay, we're going to go with that as it is. Can anybody see where I put the full solid color circles? No? Did I use them all? It's possible. It's possible I used them all. All right, let's see. Will this work? No. Here's what I want to do. I want a banner that goes across the whole thing. And I want to pick a selection of leaves, because look at how beautiful these are, that I can tuck in. Sort of like this. I think I need something a little brighter. Ooh, that's pretty. How's that coming together? Is that nice? Solid, not to take away from the detail of the... Got you. I hear you. We can do this. Okay, here's a solid. And we could do a banner like this. Leaves. So you have some beautiful look of the leaves. And this guy's going to go behind because actually, you know what? He's competing. That's why I'm not loving him. I'm going to put more vanilla. All right. What do we think of that? And we'll see if I'm talented enough. I'm going to try and do a little twine, but we'll see. Here we go. Ready, friends? Okay. First things first. What do? Adhere our first layer to our base. Now, I'm going to pop this guy up, but you'll see I'm only going to do a couple little squares because I want to tuck in behind him. The orange solid is better. We'll do that next time, Bella. So I'm going to do a couple little dots on each end of this. Wait, I'm off camera, sorry. A couple little dots there and there and there, because I want this to be a little bit of a barrier, if you will, to the stems, which I'm going to tuck in behind this. I've just looked up at my camera to see the mess that's on my desk, and I'm like, it's fine. I mean, it's fine, right? It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so here's the banner going across, and now I have, let me illustrate, like a pocket behind it, right? So now I'm going to be able to put the pieces behind it. So I want this, and actually it's kind of cute coming down the bottom, but anyways, we're going to go back up here. So now I'm going to glue this down and do the back, this will be a flat layer. Okay, so he's going to go basically right about there. And same with this one, tone on tone. It's fun to be messy, isn't it, Anne? A little bit like farming, wouldn't you say? Being creative is so important. You know what's so good for our brains? It's great for our brains to be in community, great for our brains to have really great creative outlets. Okay, now this one, look at how pretty that one is. Look at that. Piece de la resistance. I got it too low. Wonder if I should change to another. Yep, I think I should. We're going to do that. I'm going to go with this harvest gold kind of color. I've always thought it would be fun to be the Crayola color maker namer. I might yet get my opportunity with this craft. Let's see. All right, friends. So we've got some beautiful stamps. Let's just see if there's one more little guy. No, we're editing. Less is more. Okay, so let me get all this out of the way and show you. Here's one. Here's two. And here's three of our fabulous fall cards. Yay! I am so grateful for all of you being here, and I can't thank you enough for having fun with me. Eventually I'll get this all worked out and it will be even more fun, but you guys are the best. I so appreciate you being here. I so appreciate how much practice you've given me and how nobody made fun of me being this red and this hot. It really is like being on stage. I have got every light in our house blaring at me right now. So I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. I don't know that I've ever made 3 in 1 hour for sure. And Lisa, you are just so full of love. I appreciate it. Let me go back to here, you guys. Nope, wrong one. Let's do that differently again. Let me see if I do this and then do that and then do this and then do this. And all right, guys. So if you haven't already, I have 83 beautiful subscribers on my channel, and we're going for, well, thousands and thousands. There's a very special YouTube 100,000 subscriber plaque that I would love. Thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in with me today, guys. Have an amazing rest of your evening. I am so ready for any feedback that you guys have about how this can be better. And of course, I'm going to try it again next week. So if you can make it and tell your friends, by all means, I would love, love, love to see them. And if you see the shorts that I make out of this that you can share yourselves on Instagram and all that kind of good stuff, I'd love extra attention from anybody that you love as well. So thanks for being here today. An extra special thank you to Fred for keeping Luigi quiet during this whole time. I love you all. Happy crafting. Let's get creating. Be well.